Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brian Tarian from the Disability Digest here, and welcome to our Wednesday YouTube live event. Today, we're going to talk about the #1 way to maximize your Social Security disability benefits. So regardless if you are waiting to get on them, hopefully you're using our information and system and course and help to get approved, or you're already on them. I expect this information will be helpful for you. And then, of course, we will, as always, take some questions, a Q&A at the end. So hope you enjoy the show. And today, for the first time on a YouTube Live, I have David with us. Thanks for joining, David.
Hi, everyone.
No pressure.
Happy to assist you with this live for the first time.
Yeah. Good to have you. Appreciate you doing it. So we are streaming live on YouTube and live on Facebook and wherever you're watching this. If you're watching it live, you'll have the ability to enter your question, and we'll do our best to take your question. I'm also going to open up the phone lines for a bit as well, and take in some calls. So that's what we have on tap here. Now, I see as people start piling in here, if some of you are new, welcome. Our objective here at the Disability Digest with this event and other resources that we provide is to become a trusted source, if we are not already, to help you navigate the different complexities of the Social Security disability benefit system. So we have been doing this since 2006, and we're serving 192,000 Disability Digest members. So whether you're a longtime member or a first timer here, I hope you find value and encourage you to stay tuned for other information that we provide. Good. All right. Let's get into it, David. You ready? So the graphic or the thumbnail for this event is has kind of a wow factor. And I want to just provide a disclaimer too. Actually, the guy in the picture is not me. I wish it was, because those are $100 bills that he's holding, and that looks like about $1,000. So, but no, that's not me. And the #1 way that people can maximize their disability benefits. This is my opinion, and I have some data and resources to support this. But I am coming to this position in this event from this perspective. Many people look at their disability check and they're like, oh my God, how am I going to survive on $1,351 a month? And I get it. And they look to say, well, is there any more money I can get? Can I increase my check, etc.? And the chances of movement in that area are really minimal. There's a cost of living increase that's annual based on what the consumer price index is and other variables, and it's usually like 3-4%. 2 years ago it was 8%, which it's never been that in my 17 something years of doing that. So that's a really small increase, and that's really just to compensate for inflation. So there are other ways that put me, from my perspective, to come to this opinion where you can maximize your disability benefits. So I'm going to go through a list of them, but they're all going to come back to really one thing that that you can do to maximize your benefits. So this was inspired by a few weeks ago, I put out a video that was kind of riffing on this idea that was put out by the Centers for Budget and Policy Priorities, where their data shows that 4 in 10 Social Security disability beneficiaries die before retirement age. It's kind of a doom and gloom type thing. But I answered that video with, okay, maybe that's the statistics, and here's some things that you can do. So a more extensive version of what I'm going to cover with you, you will find in the YouTube show notes in the description. You can just look for the scroll down where it says the 4 in 10 die video is what it's called, and then you can watch the whole thing. So that's what has inspired this. So here's one of the, I'm going to go through the list of key items that were in this media piece that I did. And here at the Disability Digest, as I mentioned, we help people get their disability benefits approved. So we do a lot of that work, and maybe you just know us for that, but we have another equally important part of our business where we help people keep their benefits and maximize their benefits. And in that work, we are consistently engaged in talking to disability recipients and understand what benefits they have and what benefits they are entitled to, and things that they're doing, things that they could be doing, and they're not doing. So that's from our experience, how we also come up with this information. So the first thing is, and I might really annoy some people with this, but that's my job, so I'm not going to please everybody, is we consistently meet people that have access to their Medicare benefits because they are approved for disability, and they're not fully utilizing their health care piece. I'm just talking about going to your doctors, going to your specialists, get everything treated, and doing all of that properly. So one of the most important ways that you can maximize your benefits is get yourself in the absolute best health that you can for your situation. And you can do that even, 90 some odd % of you are on a Medicare Advantage plan, Medicare Part C, and you can go to the doctor for, 0 copays, sometimes specialists as well for 0 or low copay. And it's worth the investment to do everything that you can. And you want to also keep in mind that you can't overuse this, in my opinion. These Medicare Advantage plans, they are paid from Medicare to take care of your health. So if you're in a plan with United Healthcare, Humana, Aetna, Medicare pays them, last I knew it was like $14,000 a year, depending on your zip code, to manage your healthcare. And they want to keep you in the plan. They want to keep you alive so they can keep getting paid that money. So there's all these different benefits that you have access to. Some of the other things that are in this same resource in Medicare is there is food subsidies now. Like they'll give you healthy food cards. And if you don't have access to healthy food and good diet resources, there's things that you can do locally by growing or bartering or doing things like that. So checkups and food, those are 2 things that will help you get in the very best shape that you can. And you might say, well, I don't have the money to do it. And in my opinion, there's other ways around it where you can get access to good food. And I just mentioned a couple of them. Exercise. And with your Medicare plan, you have, if you're on United Healthcare, it's Renew Active. If you're on like Humana or Aetna, it's Silver Sneakers. But these are fitness memberships that people have access to. Many don't use them. Many don't know how to use them. But the benefit is it allows you to go to any facility that participates in the area, and there's an abundance of them. So you could go to a water aerobics class in the morning and a yoga class in the afternoon at a different facility. So you're basically a free agent. This is worth a lot of money. When I say fitness benefit, a lot of people have I'm gotta go lift or run on a track or things like that. Or if I go, maybe Social Security is going to watch me and they think I can work. Um, what you do there to take care of yourself is part of your responsibility as a disability recipient to do the best you can to take care of yourself. So working and this benefit are two totally different things. And I would definitely, and plus you can get out and meet people. It gets you out of the house. So take advantage of that. And if you don't have that feature, you don't know how to use it, one of the things that we do here for our members is we'll review your benefits. There's no charge. We'll look at what you have, teach you how to use it, or if you don't want to, if you want to move to a different solution or a different plan, we can help you with that. All right, so that's the 1 and 2 are treatment and fitness. And then the next is getting yourself, there's other things that are listed in that video that I mentioned, but the other things are is get active. And you might say, well, oh God, I'm disabled. I can't do anything. I can't be active. There's a resource in the show notes from Dr. Alice that has been working with people that have limitations all her life. And her position, if you are like still breathing, there is likely something that you can do. There's something that you can do for exercise, even if your mobility is limited. It could be mental exercises if you can't do physical. And then there's things that you can do for activity to stimulate yourself, to get involved, whether it's volunteering, mentoring, getting engaged out there. So just again, we're talking about your treatment and your health and your nutrition and getting active. Now, the ultimate way to top all this off, and my condensed version of this, to maximize your benefits, bar none, in my opinion, is you can work, supplement your income, you can make money every month, and you can keep your benefits. And many do, many can, but they don't. And especially now in our digital economy and the way the unemployment and the labor force is, there's a lot of opportunities. And maybe you don't find it right away, but your job could be looking for a job. So I would encourage you to take that into consideration. I mean, you can earn up to, $1,150 every month, according to the regulation, and keep your benefits. But if you want to keep it on the safe side, in the $850 range is enough below that. I mean, that's an extra $10,000 a year, plus it keeps you engaged and doing something. If you're running your own business or doing a side hustle on your own, then that is net after taxes. And that's the regulation. If you don't want to actually see the regulation, you can contact us. We have a video about that. You can search our YouTube channel about how much money you can make, and take a look at that. So those are the top things that you can do. Hopefully that will prevent you from becoming one of these statistics that are here, and maximizing your disability benefits. I would like to hear from people out there, like maybe there's something that you're doing that has helped you, that you could share, that would be beneficial to others, that has allowed you to maximize your benefits. So at this time, what I'd like to do is I would like to take some of the questions that are out there. We do have a special guest calling in today, Rebecca. And Rebecca, you've been provided with the phone number, so I'm going to open up the phone line so you can do that. As soon as I get your call, we'll be delighted and look forward to speaking to you. And in the meantime, David, let's address some of the questions that are out there online that people are asking.
Sure. So we have CK here asking, I'm waiting for the second round to see if I will be eligible for disability. All I know is I'm waiting for the case to be assigned to an examiner. What can I do?
The second round, waiting for the case to be assigned to an examiner. I'm not sure where you are at when you say second round, waiting for an examiner. I believe by round, perhaps you've been denied at the initial, filed an appeal, and you're somewhere in the reconsideration process. So this is my my position with the limited information. I don't know what what's been done on your case, but I'll give it to you this way. Here at the Disability Digest, we have a comprehensive disability approval course, and there's no charge for your membership to join us at the Disability Digest, and there's no charge for the course. And the course has been broken down into sections. Like there's a section for where I'm explaining or where I believe you're at called reconsideration. And it will help you understand what to say and do at this point, like how your appeal should have been filed, what should have been in it, what evidence is needed at this point in time to maximize your chances for getting approved. So if you're not using that, or well, let me put it to you this way, if you're doing everything that's in there, that's laid out in the course from all of the different attorneys that have contributed, because it's not put together by me, it's put together by other industry experts, then you don't need to do anything. But my hunch is you haven't. You don't have RFCs, you don't have third-party evidence, you haven't, I don't know how you did your appeal. Then I would join, contact an advocate here. They will show you how to use it. You can definitely continue on your own with the course, or if you feel like you're stuck and you need some help and it's a fit for us to, or somebody else to represent you as a disability representative, you can have that conversation. Okay. All right. What's next?
And to CK, if you can confirm or answer in the comment section, that would be great. Second, Aceman 2021 asks, do you have to pay back STD if you're going for SSDI?
No.
That's a plain no there. All right. Please, you can submit more questions, guys, in the comment section. And how about this question? We have someone asking us even like before the live started. Do you want to answer it?
Sure.
Yep, Michael M. I'm not sure if he's still here, but he's the first one to shoot a question. He says, can you cover medical benefits while utilizing Ticket to Work program? How does it work if you go full-time for the 9-month trial period?
Okay. I just want to go back to the other question because I don't feel that I answered it correctly. If
Sure.
you are paid like cash payments for Medicaid, when you're going through the disability approval process, let's say you're paid $5,000, that $5,000 is going to be deducted from your back benefits. Like you don't, when you say paying it back, yes, you do pay it back, but it's not like you've got to find money because you likely have the money. So when you return to work through the Ticket to Work program, or if you're just using your trial work period, so you're just going to do this on your own without using the Ticket to Work, you have the ability to work and keep your healthcare benefits. We had Liz, who is an interview, a member that we interviewed here. She returned to work, and I believe it's 7 years that you can keep your Medicare benefits after you return to work. So it's quite some time. I would do a cross check on that, but it's not like it goes away right away.
Well, you can. I think that was Ace Man who asked that. Do you have to pay back SCD if you're going for SSDI?
All right.
Yeah. And yeah, I hope Michael M is still here asking, can you cover medical benefits while utilizing Ticket to Work program? How does it work if you go full time for a 9-month trial period?
Yeah, so that would be the same. I mean, if you go for a trial work period or a ticket to work period, it's the work that triggers it. And so there's ability to go and keep your Medicare benefits. Now, if you're receiving like any type of social services like Medicaid, that's going to be impacted by your income because your income is going to likely eliminate your need-based criteria, but the Medicare will stay in place.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's a comprehensive answer for now. We have next question I have here from Jason Kelly. I already met with a mental evaluation doctor. When can I expect next, I wonder?
Yeah, good question. I wonder if you went for a physical. At the initial application phase, there's 72%, according to the last budget, of the people go to an exam. Not everybody does. And that typically is the last step in the review process. So depending on what state you're in and what the workload in is 60 to 90 days, you should be able to receive your decision.
Hope that answers. We have okay from I think this is April Van Newkirk's second uh, question. Well, I think her two questions are the same. She asks, when I get approved, how long before Medicare is available? And she asks if it takes 2 years to kick in.
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, I want to make sure everybody can hear you, Dave, and when you're talking, I can hear you, but if you can increase your volume a little bit going forward, that would be great. I'm going to pull up a graphic to share with everybody. Just give me a minute. I'm good at doing one thing at a time, but when it gets beyond that, it gets a little dicey. Okay. Um, all right. So on my screen, for those of you out there, I'm going to pull over an award letter from Social Security. Okay. So when you're approved for disability, you can log in. Some of you log into your My SSA account and you'll see, like an award notice. But when you get the document in the mail, it's going to have this notice of award. That's what you want to look at. And the key information is here in red. I'm going to blow it up a bit. And I put this in red to make this point. What you want to look for your Medicare is the line that says you're entitled to monthly disability benefits beginning May of 2021. So it's 24 months from the date that you are entitled to benefits. So this would be May of 2023 that Medicare would be eligible. Please do not confuse it with the next date that they found you disabled. It is the entitlement date. Okay. And if you need more help with that, like I mentioned about reviewing benefits, that's one of the things that we do here is review benefits. We can review your award letter, help you understand like when you would be eligible, what your options are, like what you should be paying for, what you should not be paying for. So that's a good question. All right. I think, David, you're doing great for your first run here so far. Everybody give David a shout out. Yes. Oh,
I
hang on, we have a call coming in.
ooh, I think that's Rebecca now. Is she
This is
calling?
Brian. If that was you, Rebecca, give me a call back. I lost you. Okay, let's keep going. Hopefully Rebecca will call back.
Sure, maybe one more question. We have a question about federal employees' disability. Can
Mm-hmm.
you tell that? From Richard Roque. What is the bottom line upfront, the difference between federal employees' disability and SSDI? Why is it required to apply for SSDI when applying for federal employees' disability? Now,
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to the requirement piece. I do know that um, if if that is like a long-term disability or short-term disability policy that you paid for through the government, what why they are asking you to apply is when you are approved for your disability benefits, the amount of income that you receive from Social Security disability offsets the long-term disability. So I'm just speculating that that's what may be going on here. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a private insurance policy through your work for $1,500 a month. So you're out of work and you're receiving that, and they're saying you need to apply for your Social Security disability. Well, your Social Security disability benefits are is going to be $1,000 a month. So your long-term disability is more. So when you get approved for Social Security disability, the long-term disability policy doesn't need only needs to pick up the difference of $500. But if your check for Social Security was $2,000, then the long-term disability policy would be totally off the hook. So that could be why. Um, yeah, I haven't had a lot of questions like that, so I'm not super experienced. I'm just providing a theory for you, if you will. Yeah. Um, while we are looking at some other questions, I'm going to open up the phone lines to everybody here so that you can call in and ask a question or share a success story if you like. And that call-in number is 844-717-2454. I do want to say, and the prior lives that we've done, the last two prior lives, we've had a problem with our phone system. 100% my responsibility. It's been fixed, so you should be able to call in now at 844-717-2454. Yeah, again, you can ask a question or maybe share something that would help somebody else out. Success story, anything of that nature. Okay, here we go. Lines are open. All right, David, you have any other questions lined up?
yeah, but I can see more here.
Okay, we'll work on those until a call comes in.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Jim asks, can one gain benefits both from SSDI and SSI at the same time?
Absolutely. And many do. You should. Yeah. Yeah. Especially on the healthcare side. It will help you get treatment on the way through the approval process. And once you're approved, if your check is below $1,500, then it could help you get your Part B paid for, Part B Medicare premium. Thanks for calling. This is Brian. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Brian. This is Rebecca Bentley calling.
Rebecca, how are you?
I'm doing good, Brian. My story is it's one of the one. I thought this process was so easy back when I applied. I thought if I did the right thing, everything would fall into place, but it wasn't anything like that.
Oh, well, uh, what happened? What could you share that you experience that may be of value for making a difference for somebody else out there that's trying to get through the process.
I'd say get a lawyer from day one.
Yeah.
Do it. Don't try to do it alone. This process is so confusing that you need a lawyer. A lawyer will help guide you through the process, and they know the ins and outs of everything. And I tried to, but I don't. When I get nervous, I don't really explain things properly sometimes. So I called a couple of lawyers, and their staff were like, "Well, we have a lot of cases, and yada yada yada." So I thought, you know what, I'll just do it myself. I'll do a little research and stuff. And then during the pandemic, the DDS people here in New Hampshire were working from home, and they sent me to terrible doctors for CEs that all they were interested in is trying to just keep the gravy train running. And then when I did get a lawyer, after I got denied the first time, they took over. They told me to stand down, and they would do everything. So I told them gave them all my doctor's names, did everything I thought I was supposed to do. Went to a hearing. The lawyer totally messed up everything. We get to the VE. The VE lists 3 jobs: addresser, information clerk, and order clerk. And the judge says, "Where'd you get this information from?" And he said, "Oh, from the Dictionary of Occupational Titles.
Yeah.
There's like 9,000 of these jobs, 6,000 of these jobs, whatever." And then he says to the lawyer, he says, "Do you have any questions?" "No, Your Honor, I have no questions for this witness."
No way.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. And then it gets worse, because at the end, the owner of the firm told me, "Oh yeah, we did everything we could for you." And I tried to talk to him and say, "Hey, she didn't." He talked over me first. He's like, "Oh, we did everything we could for you." And I'm like, "You know what? Fine." I went to the AC. AC didn't do nothing. I filed in federal court thinking I could do it myself.
You're brave. You're brave.
It didn't go anywhere. In the meantime, I reapplied with a local attorney in Manchester. She was absolutely awesome. Elizabeth Jones is her name. Manchester. She helped me win. In the meantime, my other case, my original case was in federal court. It wasn't going anywhere. And then I went back, and I was going to go after the first firm for malpractice. And the owner of the firm, at first he was kind of like very nasty. And once I pointed out that there were a lot of mistakes made, he freaked out, and he's like, "You know what? Let me, we came to an agreement." He's like, "I have another attorney in my area that does appellate work. Let me talk to him, see if he'll take the case." So he passed it over to David Chermel from Chermel and Fishman.
I know David.
David Chermel he's awesome.
Yeah.
He represented me. We had a hearing in front of Judge Menard on July 16th, and at the end he told me he's cautiously optimistic that we're in a good position to win. But in the first place, I would say, get a lawyer. Take notes when you go to the CEs, because some of these doctors, what they do is they don't do what they're supposed to do, and then they'll write. Like in the case of my physical CE, the guy, his name is Ralph Wolf. He's in Nashua, New Hampshire, on Daniel Webster Highway. He writes in his report that he makes people wait. Like, it's supposed to be a 30-minute exam. He had me sit down for 15 minutes, and then he did very little exam. Didn't ask me any of my other stuff. And said in this report, claimant was sitting comfortably during the exam.
Oh, really?
There was no reason why. Yes, he writes this every time. There is no reason why claimant cannot do a sitting or driving job. And so, and then the mental CEs were worse. They were both by Zoom. The first one was with Dr. Megan Craig out of Manchester. Well, during while they were on Zoom, she had her kids
Oh, your call is starting to break up. I don't know if you're on a cell phone. It was good for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Keep
So,
going. I think it's
yeah,
back. I just want to make sure people can hear you.
yeah, yeah. The other one was Dr. Philip Robbins. He's another one. His personality. He defines the word jerk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the link to my for the exam went to my junk folder. I didn't get it so I'm waiting, and he calls me. He's like, "You're wasting my time." He's like, "You're supposed to be logged on." I said, "Well, I said I don't, I don't have the link." "Well, check your spam folder." He's yelling at me, and I checked the spam folder. Neither one of them had any interest in hearing what was going on or anything. They just asked me stuff like, "Spell the word world backwards."
Hmm.
And that's what they put one of them put in their report, that I can repeat words and all that stuff. That's not my problem. My problem is people, pretty much. Like, I'm like, even this is like out of my comfort zone, but I just decided that I've been watching your videos for a while, and I wanted to, tell my story and say, try to help someone someone else out. Like, also another thing I did was I contacted my senator here in New Hampshire. I contacted Gene Shaheen's office
Mm-hmm.
and Congressman Pappas's office, and they have staff. Gene Shaheen's staff is absolutely awesome. They help. And same with Congressman Pappas has a staff member on his staff that deals with, Social Security and some of the other federal agencies.
Mm-hmm.
And
May I ask a few questions? I want to just give the audience some other information that may be helpful. What
absolutely.
Are you over 50 years old?
I'm 43. I'll be 44 in October.
Okay, you have a great radio voice. I don't know if you ever used it, but so to get approved that young is really difficult. So that's excellent news. And so your work doesn't really apply to what you were doing, but I was curious what you did do for work.
In 2017 to 2019, I was a assistant manager at a convenience store.
Okay.
And because I'm transgender, I had managers that were I was discriminated against, so I was let go for
Yep.
stupid reason.
Yeah.
I ended up taking them to file a complaint with the New Hampshire Human Rights Commission, and we settled for $10,000 in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
They were begging to settle by the time they were ready to a caseworker to investigate. They were begging to settle, so I ended up settling.
Nice.
But
nice.
In 2021, when we had the first hearing, the VE said that, he said I had he said I had all these skills, but he didn't identify anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the major reasons why we got it remanded. And David told me, he said when he did the appeal, when he took over and resubmitted the case, he said that I got approved as of October 2022 because I did a little work. I was working at Canby Lake Park for a little while, and I had a lot of issues. Like, I was out a lot and everything that season, and they thought it was over SGA, which it wasn't. One of the issues when we had the hearing, David said to the judge, we're saying it's an unsuccessful work attempt, and the judge said, looking at the earnings, he said, there's a bunch of jobs, but none of them are above SGA, so that sounds like that issue's been resolved, and we haven't got the decision yet. He said between 45 and 60 days, so hopefully by the end of August, the middle of September, we should have a decision.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I would say, like I said, either one of those lawyers are excellent. Elizabeth Jones, she's got a solo practice in Manchester, and then David Termel, even his staff, like Sandy Fambro and Josh Green, they're both non-attorney representatives that are on his staff. And then I talked to Ashish Agrawal, the other lawyer that's on his staff. The three of them, I talked to three of them. Like, they're any one of the staff on anybody on his staff would be excellent as a representative for somebody that's trying to get disability benefits. And they tell you ahead of time that, I mean, it's it's all about the evidence. Like I had the first time the judge said, you know, there's no evidence that there's no like tests that show any kind of back problems, but at the time I was trying to get an MRI, and between the restrictions on that kind of medical treatment at the time, and then afterwards with the big backlog that they had when everybody was trying to get one after it was all released, and then the mistakes that, you know, the law firm made. They tell me to stand down because I told them, I said, oh, I'm going to try to get this out, you know, get this doctor to make sure this doctor fills out paperwork. Oh, no, we'll take care of that. Don't do any of that. We'll do it. And then they failed to tell me. They said, oh, well, we filled out the paperwork, but they didn't fill it out.
Mm-hmm. Rebecca,
Nobody told me that.
in respect of time, because we've got other questions and a limited amount of time here. One last thing I do want to ask you. I'm so grateful for you calling in and sharing this unfortunate experience, but it's turning out all right. If you could give, like you gave the piece of advice, your advice is for everybody to go out and get an attorney, which I mean, that is your opinion. I totally respect it. But what I'm wondering if you have is like one or two questions that could help people in the selection process, because you had an experience with a disability attorney that was not good, and you had one that's good. And just hiring an attorney or a non-attorney representative doesn't mean that the problem's solved. So is there something that you could share as we wrap up the call that would be helpful for people?
I would say when you talk to them, ask them what they would what their process is for, you know, taking a case. In Elizabeth Jones's case, which she does all the legwork beforehand. Like she gets the medical records and looks at medical records and does some tests, how long you can stand, all that kind of stuff. That was kind of interesting. So when she took my case, she did all that ahead of time, and then we had the evidence to prove, you know, to send in and stuff. So it's all about like that. If an attorney is willing to take the case without actually, like I would kind of throw up a red flag, because they're just taking it without. That's what the first firm did. Yeah, and it's like they said when I talked to them, they made a claim that, you know, you have a good strong case. Like that's another thing. Like when they make guarantees, run, because ethically they cannot give a guarantee of a win. Exactly. Yeah. I think your position on advice and asking questions is hopefully people will follow it. I mean, it's great because I think one of the key things is like what I understand you saying is like, how are you going to win my case? Like, what's the deal? How are you going to do it? Right? What's your process? Pretty much. Yeah. Very cool. So listen, I thank you for calling in. Next time you talk to Mr. Charmel, you can tell him Brian Terry and said hi. I've known him for, I don't know, 10 years or so. We are at an industry conference together. So I agree with you. He's a really good guy. So I'd love to hear the positive outcome when you get news. You know how to reach us, right? So give us a shout out. Well, I'll give you another call. I'll shoot you another email when I get the decision, and then I'm happy to come back on and you know, other topics or whatever. We'll celebrate with you. All right. Good deal, Rebecca. Thanks again for calling in. Appreciate it. Thanks, Brian. You bet. Alrighty. Bye. All right. Okay. Unfortunate story turned hopefully fortunate. So that was really good. The phone lines are open for other callers. David, do you have any other questions that are queued up there that we can address?
Oh, we have Jason Kelly here, the one who asked about he has mental evaluation doctor. He has met with a mental evaluation doctor.
Oh, yes.
And he asked, I have LTD through my previous employer, but I was told I need to apply for SS as well. Does
Mhm.
that mean I will get approved for that as well?
Yeah, it's a good question. So this is a kind of a relative to the other question about federal benefits. So you do need to apply because those long-term disability policies want to get you off of it. Here's the thing though. The approval criteria for Social Security disability is different than, just one moment, I'm going to put this call on hold.
Whatever. We'll celebrate.
Thanks for calling in.
Hello?
Hello, this is Brian. Just one moment. I'm going to finish up and then I'll be right with you. Okay, so just hold one second.
Alrighty.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
So for the long-term disability, the criteria is different. Your policy may be written that it is, if you cannot do your current job at work, so let's say you're an engineer and you're no longer able to be an engineer, then your policy will kick in. Or even if it's to do any job, which is what Social Security is, the criteria for their any job could be different. So it's a good indication, but it doesn't mean it's a slam dunk. Social Security's got different processes to evaluate how they look at evidence, criteria. But good question. So I'm going to take this call. All right. So back to the caller. It's Brian. Thanks for calling in. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, you just answered one of my questions on the side over here. I'm Ace Man.
Ace Man. All right, Ace Man.
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my question. Okay, it's practically about the same thing. My lawyer says one thing and you're telling me another, and I want you to just pretty much clarify it for me. Not unless you already clarified it, but I had to turn down the volume. I don't want to talk with the YouTube running at the same time.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Yeah. So hit me again with a question, and let's unpack it.
Okay, I'm surviving right now on short-term disability.
Yep.
I've been out of work since February 7th.
Okay.
So I've been out on disability, short-term disability, and I went ahead because my doctor says it's going to take a while for me to get better, and also other problems have been coming up, my back, my prostate, and everything else. So it's like, hey, I'm really falling apart here. But they're telling me that while I'm living on short-term disability, if I apply for SSDI, I'm going to owe all that money that I'm getting from short-term disability, I'm going to owe it back. So they're going to subtract that if I get approved. Is that true?
Well, it depends on how your policy is written. If they're telling you that, it's likely true. Have you read through your policy? I know it's boring as hell.
I read through it. Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork, but I read through short-term disability, and I'm going to go into long-term disability in November.
Right. So here's what I expect it is, right, Ace Man. And what if you want to make it easier on yourself, just say, can you please refer to where in the agreement, your short-term, long-term agreement, that it outlines that. It'll save you reading through it. But I do expect that's it. But you know, how, like, you're receiving 60% of your compensation, is that right? 50. Okay. So do you mind if I go through, see if we can figure out a little mathematical example for you, what you might owe?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go ahead.
So you're receiving like how much a month now at 50%?
$505 a week.
Okay, so $2,000 a month. So you had a good job. And your Social Security disability check amount is how much?
This is the short-term disability check. Once a month, 2020.
Okay, so I want to make sure we understand each other. So your Social Security disability check, when you receive it, would be $2,200 a month?
No, I'm not barely applying for short-term short-term disability is 2020. I haven't got approved for SSDI or anything.
But you shouldn't, or you could know what your disability check amount would be, like before you start applying.
Yeah, 2,580.
Okay, 25,
and that's what.
2580. Okay, so I'm just going to round off a little bit. I'm going to say you're receiving on short-term disability 2,200. You receive 2,600 on your Social Security disability benefits. So there's a $400 difference, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you'll owe back the 2,200, but every month, for your back benefits that you will actually be able to keep will be $400 a month. So if you have 10 months of back benefits, that's $4,000 is my math. That's the general equation. Now, I'm not looking at the documents, all that. This is just an estimate, right?
Okay.
So yeah, the good news for you is this. Unlike most people that go through the disability approval process, you have some money coming in. Most people don't have short-term, long-term disability. And they have to figure out a way to make it work, and it's ugly. I mean, there really is no good answer. The obvious savings and loans and credit cards and all that stuff. So from that perspective, you're in a good spot. Yeah. Anything else in your mind that I could help you out with in closing?
Well, basically, you are telling me that I do have to pay all that money back.
Well, I don't know for sure, but if they've told you that, I gave you directions on how to go validate that. I am just going with the information I have. I haven't reviewed anything in writing, so please don't hold my feet to the fire on that one, Ace Man. I'm just right.
Okay. So I'm basically need to go ahead and review the short-term disability policy.
Yeah.
And see what it says.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so you said that you had not applied for your Social Security disability benefits?
No, I have not been approved. I'm over here. It says there's 5 steps to it, and I'm on step number 3.
Okay.
Now, I am going to have an interview on the 8th of August, and I really do not know what am I supposed to be expecting of that.
Okay.
This is part 3 of 5 that I'm in.
Okay, so we just received a call in from Rebecca who got absolutely hung out to dry on his, what you're calling an interview is an independent medical exam. So
Okay.
are you a member here at the Disability Digest or just participating on the YouTube?
Sure I am.
Live? You are, okay.
Yes, I am.
Are you, have you spoke to an advocate, been assigned the disability approval course?
Yes.
Okay. In the disability approval course, there is a section in there that is going to show you what to do. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. What to do at your exam that you have that's coming up. And so for those of you out there, I'm just going to backfill this a little bit and then I'll get on to it. The disability approval course, when you register, you can speak to an advocate. They'll help you understand generally what you're going to need about your case and go through our strategy. There's no charge for the course that we have, and it's put together with other industry experts, like you see on our screen now, like attorney Jonathan Ginsburg, attorney Carl Osterhow, ex-Social Security employee Barbara Mountain, industry legend James Mitchell Brown. So different courses are put together in this approval course by them. So Ace Man, for you and where you're at, you should have the first segment of the approval course, that is how to apply.
Okay.
And as you look at the screen, there's section 3, which is exam tips. There's 7 things that you should be aware of and prepared to execute when you go into that exam. The key thing I want to share with you and everybody else out there is that it becomes your word against theirs. And the biggest mistake that many make is they go into this exam alone without the required information. That's kind of 2 things, but
that's exactly what I'm afraid of.
yeah. So go in, and if you have a problem finding this, just contact us at support at the Disability Digest, and we'll get you, back to the page that's on the screen here. Okay. And that'll help you out. Yeah. Yeah. Good. And also I would go back and look at the section 2 that's on the screen right now, evidence, and make sure that you have all the evidence to get you approved for A and B that's in there. Because it's different than long-term disability, short-term disability, and what's required.
Okay.
Okay.
I need to go over that. As soon as I hang up with you, I'm probably going to end up doing that.
Okay, good. Good. Well, listen, thank you for calling in. I hope you find this helpful. And if you need us for anything, you know where to find us, right?
All right.
Okay.
I appreciate you and I appreciate everything you do.
You,
Thank you.
you bet. You bet. Thank you. Okay, David, you want to wrap up some of the questions that we may have there on YouTube?
Yeah, we might have someone, Aris Pappy, is trying to call in. He said, can you accommodate one more call, or should we just?
I can accommodate one more call. Let me get my system fired up here. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Lines are open. I can take one while the call is coming in. Multitask, see how I do. Test me.
Mhm. Is Aris Pappy still here?
Oh, look at you're getting a shout out from Jim, David. Good job.
Oh, and thank you, guys. Thanks for the appreciation. I appreciate it.
I see Kim has a question or a kind of a echoing the how much money you can make, the $850 I gave as an example, I believe. So $850 if you're making money and interested in keeping your benefits is I'll explain it this way. It's the regulation is $1,150 a month, and that's gross if you're a W-2 employee. It's net after expenses if you're doing something on your own. My advice is to keep it in the 850 range with the same principle. So hopefully you find that helpful. Great. Let me see if okay.
You know, I see Aris Pappy in the comments section. Are you still going to call us, Aris Pappy?
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have the number anymore. Let me put it back up on the screen.
Oh, it's here. I can see it.
844-717-2454. We have time for one more call today. Okay. Good. One other thing I've been receiving some questions on while we're waiting here. Let me see if this is his call. This is Brian.
Hey, Brian, how you doing? This is Aris Pappy.
Hey, there you are. We have been waiting for your phone call. Now help me out. How do you spell your first name?
First name is Alfredo.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Spell that for me.
Alfredo.
Oh,
Like the sauce.
Alfredo. Okay, great. All right, Alfredo. How can I help you?
You have a question. I was approved and everything. When I went to my hearing, the vocational guy, for the vocational person, stated that due to my condition and everything, there was no jobs that I can do.
Right.
I had back surgery and everything. I'm still having issues, and also I'm having issues with my upper back as well. That is also affecting my my right arm. So my question is, if the vocational guy stated that there was no jobs I can do, why would the Social Security do a CDR?
Well, that's a really good question. And so CDRs are done on individuals that are approved where there is a possibility of medical improvement. And so for some reason, Alfredo, they believe that you can have some type of improvement. Now, if they had made a decision on your case that there is no possible medical improvement, then you wouldn't be reviewed. So have you been reviewed already?
No, I was approved last year, and been a year now that I'm on my disability.
Okay.
And the letter that I got sent that there'll be a review between 5 to 7 years.
Right. Right.
So I'm assuming between 2028 or 2030, I'll be getting a review. But then I will be in my early 60s.
Yeah, I mean, you could still get reviewed. You could still get reviewed then. And I was just trying to find, I have it in my notes but I wasn't able to find it when we're talking on the phone, but that is the key. So they have three criteria: no improvement possible, and then expected improvement and possible improvement. So you're one of the expected or possible. Hopefully it's possible, which would be least likely. So if somebody had like, let's say it's a stroke or a hip replacement or a heart attack, and they can possibly have full or expected to have full recovery, that falls into one category, which doesn't sound like it's you, but just trying to help you understand, Alfredo. Yeah, good. All right, anything else on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had the back surgery. I have a fusion done between L5 and S1.
Okay.
So they're fused together. And like I said, to this day, I'm still having issues. I can't walk, stand, do anything for no more than 10 to 20 minutes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Now my back starts acting up, and then I have to lay down.
Okay.
For a few hours at a time. I am taking medication to relieve the pain, but the medication puts me to sleep.
Mm-hmm. For how long?
When I take the medication, I could be out for about 2 or 3 hours.
Okay. All right. So is there a question in that? Or anything that's on your mind or concerning you?
If the vocational person stated that there was no jobs I can do because of my condition, then there's no jobs I can do, because I mean I went through my history of work, and he stated that all the past jobs that I did, I won't be able to do now, and there's no jobs out there that I'll be able to do due to my condition, because I have to alternate because of my sitting, standing, walking, and laying down.
Okay, I think I understand what your concern is. What your disability decision was where you were at that time. So the continuing disability review is looking at where you're at 5 or 7 years after your decision. So they want to see where your health is at. Now, between your decision and then, your job, hopefully you've been following our information, is to stay in treatment. And you did a good job, by the way, Alfredo, of communicating your conditions with your limitations to me. But what I want to help you understand that may provide you with some peace and reduce stress and concern is that your job is, when you go to the doctors, is to bring those limitations. Like I can't sit or stand. I think you said 15 minutes. And I take medication and it knocks me out for 2 hours. I have to take 2 naps a day. So that's 4 hours a day, right? So if you bring at least your top 5 limitations to your doctor every time, and you tell them to put them in your medical records. So when Social Security does the review, they're going to see that Alfredo's got, a fusion from I think you said L5 to S1, something like that, and what the limitations are, and the fact that you're medicated and have to take massive naps. So that, I mean, and they're, unless something goes drastically wrong, if you do those things, it's good disability insurance. It'll help them understand that, they could review you if you want, but you're not going to be able to work. Helpful?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still seeing my doctor. I do see a pain management, and I'll let him know every month my condition and everything, and
Yeah.
I'll continue to take my medication, because he's the one who's filling my medication, because
Yeah.
I get like a 30-day supply, and then I go back again, same 30 days, and then I'll see my doctor here and there
Yeah.
for other stuff. But also, I still mentioned that to him my condition that it has not improved.
Yeah. One other thing, two other things I'll share with you. Is for members at the Disability Digest, we have a how to survive your continuing disability review. It's a course. That course was put together with industry expert attorney James Mitchell Brown. I'll put him up on the screen. He's often a speaker at our live events. So it has 10 segments. If you just want to check out a few segments on YouTube, just type in CDR and you can find it. Look for Jim's picture. In addition to that, at the Disability Digest, for certain members, we review your benefits, as many as we can. There's no charge for that for members. And if we find a benefit plan for you, like a Medicare Advantage or Medicare Medigap plan, something that's different or better or more improved, and you enroll in it with us, then that provides you a gateway into our benefit protection program. And what our benefit protection program does is it helps people like you that have a concern about their benefits being reviewed. Because when your benefits are reviewed, we'll make sure you have the course. We'll have you fill out the forms for the review. We'll review those forms, our legal team will, and our team internally, and we'll guide you through it. And there's no charge. Again, there's no charge to have your benefit reviewed or membership. There's no charge to be in the benefit protection program. You just have to be a client of ours that is managing your disability benefits and your Medicare insurance. So, and for many people that have their benefits reviewed and that doesn't go right, they have to get like paid representation that goes and brings them to court. All of that could be equal to what people pay the $7,000 now to get approved. So we do it for those in the benefit protection program at no charge because we're paid by the insurance companies to manage your Medicare. So it's kind of a win-win. You get the benefit protection, you get your benefits reviewed every year, and we get paid that allows us to have revenue to keep these, events and other things that we have going on. So I don't know where it depends on where you live and what benefits you're on and all that now. But if that's of interest to you and you're a member here, just request a benefit review. And one of our experts will reach out to you. Okay.
Okay, I'm a member, but I'll reach out to you next year because I'm already into my my benefits advantage plan. So that starts that starts in September 1st.
Yep. New plans come out every October. And so whatever works for you. I mean, we only can accommodate a limited amount of people in the benefit protection program every month. So that's no problem. But hopefully I've given you some information about what to do for your journaling and your limitations that will be of value to you, Alfredo.
Yeah, and I'm keeping a log myself, so that way I have a log of what I go through every day.
Yeah.
What my condition, they improve or gotten worse, so I keep a log so that when I see my doctor, I can let him know what's going on.
Good. All right. Listen, thank you for being a member. Appreciate you calling in. Keep us posted. All right. Make it a great day.
Yeah, and I'll do see your program every month or every week.
All right. That's great. Thank you. Appreciate the support.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Okay. So we heard from Rebecca, Alfredo, and Ace Man. Hopefully there was something of value to everybody that's out there. So looking at the time, it's time to wrap up. And so I'm in hopes that this conversation about maximizing your benefits, some of the feedback from real life situation has provided some value to all of you that are out there. And if you joined us late, the replay of this will be available. Usually it's like 30-40 minutes after the show. So you can check that out. And remember the tips provided to help you maximize your benefits. Make sure you stay in treatment. Take advantage of all of the resources at your disposal to get your health care taken care of food that you can get access to, fitness, get engaged, get active, that type of stuff. Best way, in my opinion, is get a side hustle, do something to supplement your disability income. We will be back next week with a whole new show. So once again, shout out to David. Thank you for your support today for the event. And thanks everybody for tuning in and your questions. It's a pleasure to serve you. All right. Good deal. Make it a great day, everybody. Until the next time. Thanks so much.